Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How you doing? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your Sunday is going fantastically. Is that even a word? It should just be going fantastic, I assume. I am coming to you with a kind of a weird video for me today. I'm going to be doing sort of a chatty slash reading update video. Not something that I normally do. I don't do a ton of TBRs. I don't really talk about what I plan on reading. And I usually don't do a lot of chatting about Booktube or what's in my life going on, but I thought I would do this because, as I've told you guys, work has gotten rather crazy. Lots of changes going on. I have lots of new stuff that has fallen on my plate, so I'm really busy, and I'm actually about to start a big, long slew of travel. Actually, this afternoon I leave to start that. So I got a lot going on there, and then there's some stuff going on with my family regarding some health stuff, so that's been a little bit stressful, and trying to see how I'm going to react and what Dan and I are going to do in order to visit some family and stuff like that that are going through some stuff. So it's just a lot going on, so I thought I would just sort of do a chat and talk a little bit about how I navigate real life and Booktube. Talk a little bit about Booktube, which I haven't done in quite a while, and just some of the stuff that if you don't have your own channel, you may not realize you deal with as a creator of Booktube. And then I am going to talk to you guys sort of about my currently reading, plan to be reading, and stuff like that, because I should do a little bit of book stuff in a video. So yeah, so work is absolutely insane. I am a manager of a group of people. There's been some switching, so my group has gotten much larger for the time being, so I have a lot on my plate, and it's actually been fantastic. It's just been very, very busy, and so I've had a lot of late nights at work, early mornings, and I'm more of a morning person. I don't know if you guys are this way. I'm much more productive early in the morning, so I'm the guy that gets up at 3 or 4 in the morning to get to the office by 4:35 in the morning, because I find that I can be super productive usually when no one's there and I can just sort of buckle down. And as I said, I'm about to start traveling. I travel all over Northern California, so I'm sort of heading north, and then I'll come back, and then I'm heading this way, and then I'll come back, and then I'm heading this way, and I'll come back. So I will be on the road quite a bit, which is pretty cool because I will get some audiobook time, which I absolutely have been loving doing audiobooks since I actually got this job. So that's been super exciting for me. Health stuff in the family, not going to really go too much into that, but just, you know, that's always the thing that happens, especially as, you know, we get older, our parents get older, our grandparents get older, our siblings get older, everyone starts to sort of deal with all that stuff. And yeah, so you just sort of, it takes a moment to sit down and realize that life, as it's going by you so quickly, you have to sometimes take stock and realize, you know, the people that are in your life and the time that you have with them. So that is about all I'm going to say there, because I don't need to cry on this video. So there you go. Booktube is going to be a little more spotty for me just because I won't be home and in my normal space to record. And it turns out I don't tend to like to actually take a ton of stuff on the road with me to record. It's actually a lot of work. And also I can never find good lighting. I can never find what I want. The sound is never exactly how I want it to be. So yeah, so it's going to be a little bit more up and down as far as uploads go, so I want to apologize for that, but you know, I will still have my read and review videos coming out. I'm so excited that you guys are liking the way that I'm doing sort of my wrap up reading. I have one on the agenda. It will probably be done Wednesday night when I get back from my traveling, and I'm really enjoying those videos. I'm really enjoying reading this year and all of the books that I have to talk to you guys about. I thought I would give you guys sort of an insight, if you aren't a creator yourself, of some of the stuff that we deal with. So I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter, but I've had a number of conversations, and I say conversations, I've had a number of comments that I choose to ignore because they're so asinine. But I've had a lot of stuff lately where people have decided to give me feedback on the type of reader I am. I've had one gentleman who thinks that I only read books by women because it's trendy and women writers are trendy right now. And then this sort of comments that if I read more men writers, that the women writers wouldn't seem as good as they are. so I've had to deal with some of that utter and complete bullcocky. I have had people who have attacked me. You guys, I am super upfront that I like a sad book. I don't read a lot of happy stuff. I every once in a while will read something that's a little more cheerful, a little more heartwarming, and I actually do enjoy it when I read it, but that is not what I am drawn to. I've had people call my channel sadness porn. I have had personal emails where they talk about how I review books and I just focus on sort of how great they are at talking about tragedy, which is kind of the point, but that's fine. I usually voice to people that maybe I'm not the right channel for them, if that is what they are looking for. If they are looking for happy-go-lucky, I am not the booktuber for you, but it has been very interesting. I get a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of male gay booktubers deal with this, but there's a lot of stuff that comes away, a lot of homophobia, a lot of personal email homophobia, a lot of comments about all of that kind of stuff. So normally I don't talk about it, but it just seems lately that it's been a little bit thicker than it has been in the past, which makes me appreciate all of you that say kind things and have honest conversations about books and talk about and make recommendations. All the more enjoyable, and why I love you guys and I love what we do here. And I really love the community and all of the amazing booktubers that I've met that are so diverse and have provided me with such a great network of people and book recommendations and friends, and just straight friends. You know, sometimes I don't always read the same books as some of the people that I talk to, but we can talk about books and then we can talk about life, and I have really, really enjoyed that. And that's from email conversations from people in the Netherlands. That's a shout out to you, Leo. Talking to him on Twitter. I'm currently in a conversation with a very nice lady. I don't have her permission to say her name, but out of South Africa. I talk to people in Canada and the UK, other booktubers, just watchers, which has been really rewarding and actually kind of gets you through the tough times when even on Booktube or in real life. Yeah, so that's been super wonderful, but it has been quite a month and a half or so. Ever since I posted my year-end 2018 video, it seems that a lot of people feel that they can give me their opinions, which is fine. I understand it, but that was a little bit of a rant and a rave, right? That was a lot of stuff that had a lot to do with nothing there. But, you know, I thought I would just share. This would be just a weird sort of catch-up and chat video with me, and you would get it. So should we talk about some books? Let's do sort of I'm going to talk about some currently reading. Actually, one book I think I just finished. I'll talk about some currently reading, and then some books that are sort of on my radar. When life gets a little bit tough, sometimes I do shift and read more than one book because the book I'm reading may be a little bit too heavy or too dark for me, which is really funny in this instance because the next book I picked was as dark. So, you know, I'll tell you about it. So first, let me tell you about the book that I'm currently reading. I'm actually currently reading two books. I have started this amazing novel, Lost Children Archive. This is by Valeria Lucelli, and I know I'm saying her name wrong. I apologize. This book comes out in a couple weeks from Knopf, and I started it, and it is freaking brilliant. She has her own style, so it's told in sort of like these little vignettes from the point of view of the mother character. We have a mother and a father and two children that are on a road trip. The father is trying to create a documentary about the Apaches, I believe, and then the mother, is trying to create sort of this sound documentary regarding the children of that are trying to immigrate into the United States or find refugee status in the United States. They get sort of caught at the border and what happens to them. In the interim, we also have the family dynamic of the parents. Their relationship has sort of been distancing for some time, and the kids, their two children, recognize this. They have sort of a wise daughter. She's very young. I think she's 5 or 6. And she'll say things to the parents that are very sort of that, you know, that poignant thing that sometimes little kids just say the right thing and it sounds 100 years older than it really should coming out of their mouth. but it's absolutely the right point. The author has done an amazing job of giving that character, this little girl, that voice. They are driving from New York to the tip of Arizona. And so there's a lot of stuff about crossing the United States, small towns. And then there's also a lot of stuff about the issue with these children that are being held at the border. The mother is investigating this. They listen to a lot of radio, the children. They talk about books. It's really, really well done. It is just very heavy. Like, it is a very heavy topic. The marriage is falling apart. The mother's area of interest is very heavy. And the children are struggling with this long road trip. And so I'm absolutely loving it. I think it is a brilliant novel so far. However, when things are going a little bit crazy in your personal life, this book is a little hard on my heart. So I decided, you know what I'll do is I'll read a small book. And I was talking to my friend Ann Kingman, and she said, you know, I just read this book, Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. And I was like, you know what, I have that on my TBR too. FSG was super, super nice to send me an early copy. I saw this at the bookstore this week, and I was like, you know what, I'll just read that too. I'll just pick it up. And I will tell you, it took me 2 hours to read. Sarah Moss is quickly becoming one of my favorite writers. It is absolutely brilliant. I thought it was sort of like this feminist coming of age tale, and it is in its own way. But this is really about a young girl whose father is really into reenacting the Iron Age living situation. And so they are at this sort of camp where they are pretending to be in the Iron Age. So they're wearing sort of tunics, and there's no showers, and all the food is foraged, and yeah, all of that kind of stuff. But this is really about the dynamic between the father, the daughter, and her mother. It is a tale of mental and physical abuse. There are these students who sort of are in a class with the professor who is running this. And there's sort of a discussion regarding all sorts of really interesting topics. It's not, you know, it's a very slim book. It's like 130 pages, but it definitely is something that you can grasp into, lots of stuff to talk about. But it is not a happy book, and that was, ironically, I was looking to escape, and I absolutely did. This book was brilliant. I'll do more on a read and a review. Yeah, so it wasn't actually like happy, but for some reason it was an easy, super intriguing, well-written, beautifully told story, and that is Ghost Wall. This is out now, and it's a beautiful little hard copy in the United States. I don't know exactly. I think it's a hard copy as well in the UK. I will say I love the US version of this, the FSG, and it is beautiful, and I will be picking up a copy for my shelf because I actually have all of Sarah Moss's books that I've collected over here on these shelves right here. So there you go. Then this morning and last night, I was trying to figure out what I was going to sort of interrupt my reading with next. And I spent some time going through my Europa shelves. You guys know how much of a fan I am of Europa. And I happened to pick up a Europa book last week that I just think the cover is gorgeous. And that is Sealskin by Sue Bristow. And I just, for some reason, now this book just came out. I thought I would read another one. I picked up a couple of them and I started to read this. Now, Sealskin has been out for a while in the UK. And I think it just came out here in the US. I should probably check if this is a 2019 release or not. This is based on a fairy tale. It is a 2019 release, but in Europa, but it was a 2017 release, probably in the UK. And this is based on a Scottish folk tale about women who sort of these... let me just try to start that over. Seals that come up onto the beach and they turn into beautiful women. They leave sort of their seal skin on the beach. They go, they do sort of this moment of revelry, and then they go back into their skin and leave. That is sort of the folktale. And then this is the story of a man who basically, for lack of a better word, captures one of these women and brings him into her into the family. And then she, by taking away her skin, and she's not able to escape on the night with her sisters. It turns out that he then and his mother decide that he must marry this girl, and they create this whole story. I started it this morning, and I'm only 60 pages in, so I don't know where the story itself is going to go, but I'm absolutely loving the writing, absolutely loving the story, and I'm totally bought into everything that this is going on. So, Europa never lets me down. It is, again, this is like happy for me, but it is not really that happy of a tale, but I'm really, really enjoying it so far. So let me tell you about a couple books that are coming up. One is probably needs no description at all, but I'm really interested in reading The Wife by Meg Wolitzer. I normally would never buy a cover that is the movie tie-in cover, but I think Glenn Close looks so freaking fierce on this cover. And I watched a preview of the movie yesterday, and she looks phenomenal. And I need to watch the movie. Clearly I need to watch the movie, but I have this sitting here and I really want to read it. So I think it's going with me on this trip to see if I can sneak it in. This is the story of a woman whose husband, they've been together for a very long time, and he is about to win a very high literary prize. In the movie, they turn it into the Nobel. In the book, it is not the Nobel. But we find out that on the plane ride, she decides she's going to leave her husband, and there are a myriad of reasons why. And yeah, so I have read a couple of books by Meg Wolitzer. I've really enjoyed what I have read. I know that my friend Britta over at Britta Bowler, The Second Shelf, would highly recommend Meg Wolitzer's novels. My friend Ryan read this and said it's really good. So clearly, oh, and I think my friend Emily also read it. I think a lot of people I know have given me a recommendation on it. So The Wife, it's sitting there. It's going to be read very, very soon. And again, it's not that big of a book either. Then the next book is a memoir. I have read a couple of memoirs this year, I think, and they've all been very, very good. And this was one of those instances where I was out and about, and I decided, you know what, I'll just pop into Barnes & Noble. I still have some gift certificates from Barnes & Noble from Christmas, and I'll see what I can find. And I found this book, and this is called All the Lives We Ever Lived by Catherine Smith with a Y. And I was like, oh, I really like that cover. I really think that it's beautiful. And it says, Seeking Solace in Virginia Woolf. So, yeah, I had seen it, loved the cover, loved the spine, and I was like, I'll just pick it up and see what it's about. And I kid you not, I was standing there in Barnes & Noble like this, and next thing I knew, I was 30 pages in. So that is a good tale. This is the story. This is a memoir about Catherine, who her father is dealing with cancer. He gets very, very sick, and I'm going to it's not a spoiler because it's in the little blurb. He does die, and after his death, and actually before his death, we sort of learn about Catherine's affinity for the novel To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, and how that book was so important to her academically, intellectually, and then it turns into something very important to her to get through the grief of losing her father. So I am all bought in for all of that. I need to read more Virginia Woolf. I don't know why I haven't. I need to get a copy of To the Lighthouse. The copy that's on my shelf, actually, I picked up at a used bookstore, and I was flipping through it before this video, and it is all written in. I did not do a very good job at making sure that that one wasn't destroyed before I got it. So I'm on the hunt for another copy of To the Lighthouse. But I thought this memoir sounded really intriguing. I love books about books. I love books about people who use books to get through stuff. So that is All the Lives We Ever Lived by Catherine Smith, Smith with a Y. So this turned into a pretty long video, so I hope you guys enjoy this little chatty sort of stuff. A lot of stuff going on in it, a lot of stuff in life going on, and a few books there thrown in at the end. As always, if you're a return subscriber, I thank you very, very much. And as I said earlier in this video, it's with you guys that I do this entire adventure. If you're new to my channel, this is an interesting place to start. I hope it interests you enough to check out my other videos. And as always, until next time, I wish you happy reading, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!